So let's talk about how you basically got to this point. So you've obviously property investing helped you to retire, but you also have businesses that helped. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So I'd been buying houses and renovating houses, and so I spent most of my 20s living in unrenovated houses, like sleeping on a mattress on the floor in a building site, because I still hadn't really grasped that you could renovate it without living in it. So I would buy a house, move in, renovate it. When it was nice, then I'd move out, rent it out, and then do the next one.
And were you working along the way? You still had jobs?
I was, yeah. I had a corporate career, and I was ended up as a manager at a pharmaceutical company, and I was like the first female and the youngest person and all this kind of thing to be in that senior management role. So I kind of had quite a busy corporate career as well.
Yes.
And got to 29, and I think it's midlife crisis age for women somehow, 29. Like, I think men leave it a bit later, but
29.
Yeah, there you go. You can have one. It's like, I think guys get to their 40s, whereas women kind of get to 29 and go, I'm going to be 30 soon. Is this what I want to do?
Yeah.
So, we won't make this a counselling session for you. But and so I got to 29, and I went away on holiday with one of my girlfriends, and I hadn't had a holiday for ages because I'd been working and renovating, and we went to the beach for a week and sort of sat and contemplated our navels, and I said, I just don't know and I got to as high as I could get in my career. I basically was reporting to the managing director of a multinational pharmaceutical company, so there was no chance that I was going to be managing director for 15 years, if ever. Mm-hmm. Like, I was way too young and way too female. Yeah. And so I thought, I'm either going to sit in this job now for the next 15 years or I have to find something else to do. And so Tracy, my friend, said, well, why don't you go and start your own business and do that for a few years and then come back into, corporate world when you're 40 or something like that, and, when you're the right age to be promoted. And so I thought, oh yeah, I could do that. And then we didn't really know what kind of business I could start, because I was a scientist and I couldn't start a scientist business. I wished I was a hairdresser or something, or at least there was something tangible that I could do.
Yes.
And she said, well, you're a manager and you know how to do management, and you like to, because I'd got the speaking bug. Like, I'd been doing the public speaking thing with property when I did that talk for the conference, despite the fact that I threw up in the toilet before I went on. I was so scared. It was awful. And I went to the organiser and I said, I can't go on, I'm throwing up. And he went, oh, you'll be right, and just introduced me. So I had to go on. So I'm holding onto the lectern, shaking like a leaf. But then when they gave me the standing ovation and the hugs, I went, oh, I like this. So I started doing a bit of talking about, you too can make money in property sort of stuff, and spoke to a lot of women's groups and a lot of business lunches and things like that. And so Tracy said, well, you like speaking, and your other trade other than science is management. Why don't you start a business as a management trainer? I went, oh, yeah, I could do that. And so I went and got a job for a couple of years working for an English company, which they were taking scientists and engineers and teaching them how to be management consultants and management trainers, and working for big corporate clients. And so I thought, well, I could do that as my interim step. So I went to like half my salary and did that.
Oh, wow, just to get some experience.
Yeah, to get there. It was like an apprenticeship, really, I saw it as. And so I worked for them for a couple of years and then went out and started my first business.
And by that stage, you'd moved to Australia? Is that right?
Yeah, so the English company actually sent me to Australia for a week to go and see a client here, where it was an industry that I knew and they didn't have anyone else that did. And I got here and it was Brisbane and it was July and the sun was shining and there were palm trees and the taxi driver was friendly and the receptionist at the hotel was friendly.
Sealed the deal.
And I thought, I'm going to live here. Because I've been in New Zealand and the UK, and it was rainy and cold and grey, and I've never liked the cold weather. And I just went, this is amazing. I'm going to work, and there are palm trees out the window, and there were no clouds and nice taxi drivers, so I had to come here.
That's the clincher.
Yeah, they did it. So it took me 6 months to convince Lloyd's that I could actually work from home in Brisbane and travel from there, but I did.